Hi, this is Glenda, and today I will be making a soap inspired in Superman. And I have here the light water. And I'm going to use this soap as probably like a Valentine's gift, because my husband, it's a big... Oh, let me take a temperature before proceeding. Okay, light water is 106 and the oils are at 117. Okay, because Superman is copyrighted, I wouldn't even think about selling this soap. But it will make a nice Valentine's Day gift for my husband and also for my nephews. So I'm going to... I also added some sodium lactate to the light water. And I'm going to go ahead and blend it. This is a new blender that I'm using, and it's very powerful. It looks like I've reached emulsion now, so I'm going to go ahead and add the fragrance, which is going to be the Perfect Men by Nature's Garden, and it usually behaves really well. Okay, this smells really good. It's one of, among people that I've given soaps to, it's one of the favorites fragrances. So now I'm just going to blend it in. Okay, I have now reached mild trace, so I'm going to go ahead and split this into two portions to be about half of it. It will be a different color. Okay, so for colorant, I'm using some ultramarine, and I'm going to... I'm hoping for a light blue. I only use 1/4 teaspoon of the pigment, and hopefully it doesn't go too dark. Okay, so for the other half, I'm using 1/2 teaspoon of titanium dioxide, and you can see how the bottom is really solid. Now, this fragrance usually doesn't accelerate or anything like that. So I'm beginning to think that it could be because I'm using a different fragrance. No, not a different fragrance. I'm using a different recipe. But in reality, the main thing that I did is that I've substituted tallow with lard. And lard is supposed to be slower moving than tallow. So I'm guessing this is getting thick, either because this blender is very powerful and it's just blending everything really fast, or I'm not sure. Let me think. Okay, that's quite thick. I don't think it's the recipe. And what is different from this soap to the ones that I did with the tallow recipe, well, another thing that I changed is that instead of shea butter, I use cocoa butter on this recipe. And cocoa butter, it is a little bit hotter, but it could be the blender. It's very powerful. I don't know. I'm going to try it with the blender that my sister gave me for Christmas, which I was going to save for kitchen stuff. But I'm going to try that one instead next time, and I'll be able to tell then what's the difference. So here's the mold. It's the first time I'm using this mold. This is the one from Brambleberry. And I will be attempting to put different... The idea was to put different colors on each side. I'm not sure how this is going to work with this thickness of the butter. We'll see. And I had the idea to make this soap when I went to the movies with my husband to watch The Death of Superman, which is like a comic style movie, like cartoons, I guess is what you will say. And in it, like the title suggests, Superman is killed. But in case you want to watch that movie, I won't tell you more. But this scene in the movie that inspired me to do this soap, and I've been meaning to make a Superman soap for a while because, like I said earlier, my husband is a big fan of Superman, was a scene at the Fortress of Solitude. And the Fortress of Solitude, it's supposed to be somewhere in where there's a lot of ice. It's either the North Pole or the Antarctica. I'm not sure. I think it's up north. So I have 3 of these dividers, and I'm going to attempt to fill each one with the different colors. And what is supposed to be white, it's looking greenish because it has some of the blue, which also is mixing with some of the yellow of the oils. However, once this has dried up, I'm confident it's gonna be looking white with a tint of blue, like a light blue. But anyway, the Fortress of Solitude is the place where Superman goes to either think or rest or meditate. And in the movie, he goes for something else entirely. Or actually, he doesn't go. He's taken there, it seems. I'm using this spatula to sort of make sure that every nook and cranny is filled with soap and I don't have much of air pockets. Okay, now that I've straightened it, I'm going to pull the dividers, which I cut. Oh man, they are slippery. I cut them out of a plastic cutting board that they sell at the Dollar Tree store. Okay, I'm going to fast forward this portion for you, but I'm pretty much just going to try and pour the soap back into the cavities. It seems now that the soap has a very thick consistency, similar to that of frosting. So if I was somebody who pipe soap, this would probably be the consistency that I'd be looking for. I don't know. I've never piped soap, so. And even though I've piped some cupcakes, like real, the ones you can eat, and I frosted some cakes, it is not something that I'm very good at. But I did, it seems that this recipe made just enough butter for this container, for this mold. And what I'm going to do now is add the embeds. The embeds are melt and pour, and they consist of pieces that look like, if you look at a picture of the Fortress of Solitude, it just looks like there are big icicles on top, just sticking out, kind of like that. When I cut it out, I may add this, which when I showed it to my husband, he thought they were duck feet, and I don't blame him because this one looks like a duck feet for sure. But what I meant to do were capes, because I figure I may just stick it on the soap and make it look like it's either Superman's cape hanging, or if I feel like it, I may even try to paint the back of Superman. I'm not sure, to be honest, even if I'm going to be using them, but just in case. Now let me know if you have a favorite superhero. Alright, so it's been about 30 hours and it looks like it's ready to come out. So I'm gonna try to just push it out without damaging the embed. Maybe I'll put something underneath. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to cut it and see what it looks like. It looks like at the bottom it may have retained some of the lines, which in hindsight I don't think I like it. I did have a lot of air pockets on these sides where you can see it didn't go all the way in the mold. Alright, let's see. Huh, interesting. I see some pockets here that I may try to fill with some soap. I can see the stripes in there and I'm not sure that I like them. It sort of looks like a waterfall or two waterfalls. I was expecting the color to be more lighter. It seems to be a darker blue than I had envisioned it to be. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is to put the what do you call it? The Superman cape, attach it to some of the soaps. And I have to decide how I want to do that. And I still have some of the pockets that I need to figure out what I'll do with. I think I'm trying to find the ones that are in the worst shape, like this one. So I'm going to use, oh, that one's actually worse. Okay, and it's one of the skinny bars. So I'm going to grab the edge of this soap and I'm going to use, the soap's still soft. Ideally I should be wearing gloves because it's still what you will call light heavy, or just touching this I can feel my hands don't feel entirely comfortable because it's still a little bit alkaline. Alright, I went ahead and put gloves because I want to soften the corners of the soap, and it still feels very alkaline, so it was irritating my hands when I was handling them earlier. And I find it is easier to smooth out the edges when I take it out. I don't want to have to clean the soap too much because I have way more soap scraps that I know what to do with. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can do that by clicking on the logo, which will be somewhere on the screen. Otherwise, I hope to see you next week. Bye.